Just a few days after nearly 200 leaders pledged to ramp up efforts against climate change and announce their plans to transition to green fuel, energy ministers of the developing world's oil-producing nations called for greater inclusivity and continued investment in hydrocarbons for energy security. This as they work to reduce emissions while developing oil-reliant economies. Speaking at the Abu Dhabi International Petroleum Exhibition Conference, UAE's energy minister said that the world cannot just unplug from the use of hydrocarbons and that the oil and gas industry needed to invest over $600 billion annually until 2030 just to meet the expected demand. Listen in.
The global community has just concluded COP26, and on balance, it was indeed a success. Yet, current energy dynamics have revealed a basic dilemma. While the world has agreed to accelerate the energy transition, it is still heavily reliant on oil and gas. And if we are to successfully transition to the energy system of tomorrow, we cannot simply unplug from the energy system of today. We cannot just flip a switch. Distinguished delegates, we must, of course, prioritize investments toward the most cost and carbon-efficient barrels.
The United Nations Climate Summit, also known as the COP26, ended on Saturday and was the first time when leaders from across the world agreed that fossil fuels were the key driver of global warming. Speaking on which, the energy minister of Saudi Arabia, the top oil exporter, said the approach to climate change should provide equal focus on energy security and economic growth in developing countries.
On the idea that in order for everybody to be inclusive, you have to look at first emissions, not the source. Two, it must be all greenhouse gases. It must be all sectors. If we are to be inclusive, we have to be mindful of natural circumstances, and we have to be also mindful of the fact that things are not even. There are some category of so-called less developed countries. There are countries that are developing, such as us.
India's Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas was also present at the conference, where he affirmed that India was at the forefront of the energy transition. However, the minister warned against an energy transition that results in unrealistically high costs for consumers.
When petrol prices and diesel prices are going literally through the roof, obviously we are concerned. You cannot have a situation in which the transition is not orderly, stable and predictable. So what high oil prices and high diesel prices do is that they disrupt that process of the transition.
He said it was important that the Abu Dhabi conference was being held just after the COP26 summit, so that the focus can be both on what the reality on the ground is and the need for managing the transition. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.